So, good afternoon and welcome to Healing Restorative Yoga. Today, I want this to be a time of exquisite self-care. So make sure you have whatever you might need. I'm suggesting a couple blocks, a bolster, a few blankets or beach towels. And if you have a strap, that would be wonderful. If you don't have a strap, something like a men's tie, or a women's scarf, or even like a belt would work. So go ahead and collect whatever items you think you're going to need. And again, if you would like to have some music going in the background, if you want to use your favorite essential oil, let this just be a time of self-care, self-nurturing, a time to decompress and de-stress. We're going to set up in a reclined position with like a little recliner. Let me go ahead and mute you guys. Okay. So we're going to start in a recliner position. And if you want to elevate the end, you can put a block under there. If you want it to be even higher, you could put 2 blocks under. So you could have one going on the second level, and then one, I'm sorry, on the lowest level, and then one on the second level, or whatever feels good to you, okay? So make this something that is comfortable and inviting. And then I have 2 blankets for behind the knees. So you can take one blanket, lay it flat, and then you can roll the other one up and put it on top so it'll bring it up a little bit higher. Or if you have some pillows or anything you might have available in your house, you can have that behind the knees as well. So then just come onto your back. Letting your legs just kind of drape over whatever you have underneath them. Laying down, making sure you feel nice and supported, making any adjustments or using any other props you might need to be as comfortable as possible. And then turn the palms upward, just allowing the shoulder heads to begin to release open. Maybe take your legs a little bit wider than usual, allowing the feet to just kind of roll toward the corners of your mat. Gently close your eyes. Taking a moment to turn your attention inward. Notice how you feel today on a physical level. So doing a quick body scan, noticing any areas of tightness or discomfort, noticing any areas that feel strong or spacious, and any other sensations that you notice in your body. Without judging, just bringing awareness. And then do the same thing, noticing any thoughts that are present this afternoon, giving your mind an opportunity to just start to slow down, coming into a space of quiet stillness, an opportunity for the body to rest and restore. Check in with any feelings that are present. Just providing yourself some loving care here. As if you're sitting on a couch with your best friend, just snuggling up to care for one another, to hold space for one another. Just meet yourself on your mat, just a beautiful homecoming into your own body. Now begin to slow and deepen your breath. So draw that breath deeply in through the nose, filling into the lungs fully, expanding and inflating the belly, the rib cage, the chest. A slight pause at the top of that breath, just holding for a moment that feeling of fullness, expansion, opening. And when you feel ready to exhale, exhale out through the nose or the mouth slowly. Take your time. Maybe even double the count of your exhale relative to your inhale. Let's continue like that for a few rounds or as long as you like. Inhaling deeply through the nose, filling into the belly, the rib cage, the chest, holding at the top of that breath. And when you feel ready, exhale to release all the breath slowly. Take your time to arrive all the way at the bottom of that breath. Now, with every breath, I want you to imagine the breath as a vehicle for bringing hope into your body. Hope is a powerful thing. It inspires us to do the impossible. It helps to carry us through difficult times. Hope can come in lots of different shapes and forms. Sometimes it comes through music, an inspiring conversation, a good book, through sacred texts, through quotes of our favorite thought leaders or spiritual teachers, or just even being out in nature. But hope is a game changer. Hope has the power to shift us from a space of discouragement, despair, into a space of hopeful expectancy. In fact, the word hope means the expectation of good, or to wait with joy and full confidence, to hopefully trust in, to expect or confide in. And so when we talk about hope, we're not talking about wishful thinking. We're coming from a space of knowing that this too shall pass, that there is light at the end of the tunnel. And we're expecting that good to come in whatever way, at whatever time, not attached to a specific outcome or timing, but in a space of acceptance. One of my favorite acrostics for hope, H-O-P-E, is hold on, pain ends. What we're experiencing now will not last forever. And when we remind ourselves of that, it allows us to remain in a space of hopeful expectancy. It anchors us in so that when the storms of life feel like they're kind of tossing us all about, we are grounded, we're centered. So in this posture, I want you to imagine your body anchoring in, grounding down, feeling a sense of being centered, reframing your current circumstances to that space of the expectation of good. Continue to breathe in hope in this posture, breathing out discouragement, disappointment, despair, and anything that keeps hope from floating, from rising to the top of your circumstances, to the top of your mind. And now in your mind's eye, I want you to finish the sentence, I am hopeful that. Let that become your prayer for your class or your mantra for your class. And maybe you'll take it off your mat today. I am hopeful that, finish the sentence. And let it take hold of every muscle fiber, every cell, every neuron firing in your brain, filling up with hope, taking it wherever you need it most. You can stay where you are, or if you'd like to, I'm going to invite you to bring the soles of your feet together, whatever you have behind your knees, draw it a little closer to you so that the soles of the feet are together, and then that bolster or whatever you have behind the knees is now supporting underneath the thighs. And if that doesn't give you enough support, you can actually move your blankets out from underneath, and you can kind of fold them up and create supports for the underneath of your legs, like this. Just allowing your body to begin to open into this shape. Noting any areas of resistance, noting any areas of forcing. Just allowing time, breath, and gravity to gently and gradually open the body. Imagine the breath like a wave washing in, over, and through you, drawing in what it is you desire, the mantra or the intention for your class that you're holding, or the prayer that's in your heart, and breathing out whatever goes counter, just letting it go. Oftentimes, fear is our barrier to hope. So can we release fear? Can we let that go? I think sometimes our fear is that this will never end. But that's simply untrue. And whatever we resist will persist. So notice what you're focusing on. Notice where your attention goes. Continue to release the jaw as you breathe as well. Letting the breath be like a wave. So maybe now we're matching the inhales and the exhales. And there's no pause at the top or the bottom. One just flows into the other. As the inhale rises to the top, it transforms right into the exhale. Follow the exhale all the way to the bottom, like those waves just rolling away from the beach, until the next one comes, filling up, expanding. Maybe even picture those waves in your mind as you breathe. Hope were a color, what color would it be? Maybe you visualize that color as you breathe in. You can visualize it moving into your nose, the back of your throat, all the way into your lungs, searching out those dark places. And just doing a gentle releasing, letting go of those places where we're holding on, where we're clenching with fear or control. So there is just no way to control the circumstances that we're facing. We can only control how we react to them and how we respond to them. Desmond Tutu said that hope is being able to see the light despite all the darkness. Hope is being able to see the light despite all the darkness. Even in the darkest, darkest sky, you may notice a light flickering somewhere, bringing light into that darkness. Darkness is the absence of light. It is not the opposite, it is the absence. You're sitting in a dark room and you light a match, now there's light in the room. So where do you need to bring that flame? Where do you need to bring that light? We can be light for one another too. We notice that our friends are feeling discouraged, our friends are falling victim to despair, worry, fear. We can be like a lighthouse, bringing them back, filling them with hope. Maybe in these next breaths, you imagine breathing in light, breathing out darkness and all of its derivatives. Let your breath be like a spotlight, searching out those dark places and filling them with light. Keeping your legs as they are, we're going to just slowly begin to reach the arms up toward the ceiling and overhead. And as you exhale, take those arms wide and gently float them back alongside your thighs. We're going to keep moving like this, like we're swimming in the air, creating some movement in our shoulders. When we feel stress, our jaw will clench and tighten. Our shoulders will lift up toward our ears and round forward. Our hips will tense and tighten. Really, all of the muscles in the body begin to tense. So where can you bring flow and movement, opening and space, softness? And take it in the other direction. Linking your breath and your movement together. Let them flow. Just joining the breath and the movement as one. Yoga is about joining things. It's bringing union. The mind, the heart, the body, and the spirit. Good. Just gently float your hands, maybe resting onto the inner thighs. Or resting them on the floor with the palms facing up, your choice. And then we're just going to start imagining that our legs are like an open book right now. And as if we're going to close the book from the left side, bring your left knee over to your right. And then we're going to inhale, open back up, finding butterfly. Now we'll close the book from the right. So on the exhale, bringing the right knee over toward the left. And then inhaling, opening back up. Just keep moving like this, gentle movement into those hips. What we're doing is called internal and external rotation. So when you bring the right leg over to meet the left, we're internally rotating it. And then when we open it back up, we're externally rotating. It helps to restore range of motion in the hips. It also helps to synovialize the hips, which means to bring synovial fluid to those joints, which help the joints to glide better. Most of the joints in our body are synovial joints. They have little pockets of synovial fluid. It's like egg white-like substance. Syn means like, novia means egg. So it's egg-like substance. It's what we want to prevent things like arthritis in the body. Good. We'll go ahead and bring both legs up now. And then slowly just bring the feet to the edges of your mat. So we're going to keep the legs bent, just moving the props out of the way for the time being. And now we're going to slowly windshield wiper the knees from side to side. So now we're still doing that internal and external rotation, but one leg is rotating internally while the other is rotating externally, and then vice versa as we switch sides. Keep breathing here. Perhaps you're exhaling as you go to one side and inhaling as you come back up. Just gently moving from side to side. Notice how much easier you can breathe already just by doing some gentle movement. Motion is lotion. Movement is medicine. Moshe Feldenkrais said that. Next time your knees go to the right, we're going to allow them to just stay over to the right. Now, if this is too much of a stretch into the hip or the knee, you can take a blanket or even two between the legs and then just bring that left knee closer to the right. And if that left arm feels like it's just kind of stretching in too intense of a fashion, you can take the other blanket and just support that arm. So just at whatever height you need it to be, give that left arm a little bit of support, bringing the floor a little closer. If you want to add a twist for the cervical spine, take your gaze over your left hand. Twists are wonderful for the body. They help to improve the health of our spine. They also help us to detoxify our internal organs, specifically the organs of digestion and elimination. 70% of our toxins leave the body through the breath, the rest through digestion or through perspiration, through sweat. 70% through the breath. So I want to encourage you to be inhaling through the nose and maybe exhaling out an open mouth now. The breath of letting go. If it feels good, feel free to add some sound. Like a gentle sigh, or the sound of ah, which resonates with our heart chakra. Allowing that breath to flow freely. Again, inhaling through the nose, exhaling an open mouth. And as you exhale, feel the jaw release, feel the shoulders release. Maybe you'll even notice the low back beginning to release in this spinal twist. Imagine in your mind's eye that you're wringing out like a dirty washcloth. Squeezing out those things you no longer need, just wringing them out of the body, the mind, the heart, the spirit. Allowing the breath to be slow, rhythmic, and deep. Lanai Taylor said, hope can be a powerful force. Maybe there's no actual magic in it, but when you know what you hope for most and you hold it like a light within you, you can make things happen, almost like magic. When you know what you hope for most and hold it like a light within you, you can make things happen, almost like magic. And very slowly begin to remove whatever might be between the legs for the moment. Bring those legs back up. And then again, toe heel your feet to the edges of your mat. We're just gonna tick-tock the legs again, side to side a few times. And then at any time, when you feel ready, we'll just allow the knees to orient to the left. So once again, you can support the underside of those legs. You can add a blanket between the legs, giving them more support. You can slide that right knee closer to the left. You can create some sort of propping for underneath that right arm if you like. And again, you might choose to take your gaze over your right hand now. Coming back to that deep breath of letting go in through the nose and out an open mouth. As you breathe like this, just notice any places where you're clenching or holding on. As you exhale, can you soften those? Can you release them? Can you let go? I want to invite you to continue breathing in through the nose, out an open mouth. Feeling free once again to add any sound if you like. As you're breathing, recognize that the lungs are an area that hold grief and sadness. And it's okay. It's okay to feel grief and sadness. It's okay to feel disappointment or discouragement. But at the same time, we never want to let go of hope. Martin Luther King Jr. said, we must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. Let your hope be an anchor for your soul, for your spirit. A few more very intentional breaths here. In through the nose, out an open mouth. What else can you let go of? What else can you surrender? We're going to slowly roll onto the left side and push ourselves up so we can remove the bolster from behind the back. Take the bolster out to the right side and you can just move blocks out of the way if you have blocks underneath. And then consider creating a little neck roll for the head. So you can place your blanket flat and then curl up the bottom edge of that, or if you have a beach towel, doing the same. And here we're going to have a strap handy now. So if you don't have a strap, again, you can use something like a tie, a scarf, or even a belt. And then come back onto your back. Beautiful. You can keep the left foot on the floor for the moment. We're just going to go ahead and bring the right knee in toward the chest. And while you're holding that knee toward the chest, go ahead and begin to just point and flex your right foot. Allow your thigh to fall heavy toward your chest. Feel that compression into the hip joint, into the hip capsule on the right. And also we're putting a little bit of pressure into our ascending colon. We always start on the right and end on the left because that's the direction that our digestion takes place. So we're starting with the ascending colon and then we'll end on the left with the descending colon. We'll take a strap, we're going to loop it around the ball of the foot. So that's going to be the fleshy part of the foot just below your toes. Holding onto that strap, maybe with both hands if that feels good to you. We're just going to draw those toes back toward the nose, holding onto the strap. And if it makes your hands kind of get tired from squeezing the strap, you can actually loop the strap around your hands. So now it takes the effort away. And then you just gently hold. Again, just allowing time, breath, and gravity to begin to open up the back side of that right leg. At the same time, we're stacking the heel over the knee over the hip, which is really good for our hip capsule. We're going to stay like this for a few breaths. Keep releasing the shoulders away from the ears toward the floor. Keep releasing into the jaw. And maybe over time, as you're holding the shape, you're able to straighten that knee just a tiny bit more, but without forcing. Know that you can always straighten that left leg if you want to. Completely up to you. Now we're going to gently loop the strap around the right hand. So again, you can kind of loop it around so you're not having to hold on and clench. And then we're going to gently begin to open that leg out to the right. Now, you have a bolster to the right. You can place whatever else you might need on top of there to catch the leg, or just allow it to support from the underside of the thigh. So feel free to make it as high as you need to using your block or even your other blanket. And then just begin to settle here, allowing that hip to begin to open more deeply. And again, if you'd like to, you can extend that left leg out long. Totally up to you. Just breathe. Michelle Obama said, "You may not always have a comfortable life, and you will not always be able to solve all of the world's problems at once. But don't ever underestimate the importance you can have, because history has shown us that courage can be contagious and hope can take on a life of its own." Release any tension residing in the neck, the jaw. Oftentimes when our hips are tight, we'll notice there's also tension and tightness in the face and the jaw, also in the shoulders. So keep releasing the shoulders down. Now, if your left leg is extended, go ahead and bend the left knee and place the left foot on the floor. We're going to slowly bring our right leg back up and then release the strap, and then just drape your right leg over your left. So that right knee is stacking right on top of the left. We're not doing a reclined pigeon. We're actually stacking left knee over right knee. Take the arms up to the sides, and then we'll slowly release our crossed legs over to the left. So coming into a deeper twist. Use whatever props you have or need. We can always place a block underneath the legs to support them, or a rolled up blanket, or even a bolster. You're going to feel a deeper stretch into the IT band. It runs along the whole outside of your right leg and left leg, but we're stretching into the right now. You might feel it stretching all the way into the outside of that right hip where it originates. It's a thick band of connective tissue. It can get really tight, trying to stabilize the hips, but also due to just not spending much time opening this area of the body, but also tension, stress can also tighten it as well. Taking a few more breaths here. In through the nose, again, maybe out an open mouth of letting go here. Cultivating hope and courage, creating conditions for them to thrive. And it all begins in our mind. What thoughts do we entertain? What do we focus on? Whatever we focus on expands, and whatever we seek, we will find. So maybe you start searching out hope-filled, hope-inspired stories on social media, on the news, with your friends. And allow it to just continue to fill the light inside of you. Slowly begin to bring those legs back up. Take a moment and gently draw both knees in. And then we'll gently kind of push the legs away. Just floating them above the mat. We're not extending, we're just gently squeezing those knees in and gently just pushing them away. Exhaling as you squeeze. Inhaling as you release. Good. On this next exhale, we're going to hold for just a couple breaths. Notice the difference already between the two sides. The two sides of your low back, the two hips, the two legs. Notice the difference in the way they feel. We're going to gently float the feet to the floor for the moment. We'll take our bolster over to the left, on the left side of our hip or thigh. Have a strap handy and bring your block over to the right. Good. With the right foot grounded on the floor, let's go ahead and bring the left knee in for a moment. Just holding here. Hands can be below the knee or behind, and then gently point and flex the foot. Keep breathing. Take your strap, loop it around the ball of the foot, the fleshy part of the foot below the toes, and then gently extend that leg. Heel comes up toward the ceiling, toes back toward the nose, and then maybe loop the strap around your hands, just holding here. Taking some breaths as if you could bring them into the back side of your leg. Opening, creating space. Just feeling that left thigh bone. Press heavy into the left hip socket. Take a hold of the strap with the left hand. And again, you can loop the strap around the hand so you don't have to hold on. And we're going to gently open that leg out to the left. Again, you can support the underside of the thigh or leg, just depending on how open you want to go with it. Release the left shoulder away from the ear. And just continue to breathe into the left inner thigh, hip, groin area. At any point, if you'd like to extend your right leg long, feel free. Maybe you choose to stay here. Wherever you are is perfect. Bernard Williams says, there was never a night or a problem that could defeat sunrise or hope. There was never a night or a problem that could defeat sunrise or hope. Keep breathing in hope, breathing in light, breathing in love. Gently dismissing all those things that keep you from experiencing those sensations, those feelings, those thoughts that align hope, love, and light. Check in with your jaw. Just allowing time, breath, and gravity to do the work for you. On your next inhale, let's bring that leg up. If the right leg is extended, go ahead and bend the knee, placing that right foot on the floor. I'm going to move the strap out of the way, and then just gently drape the left knee over the right. So we're crossing the left leg over the right leg. We're going to take the arms out to the sides like wings, keeping the shoulder blades grounded on the mat, and just allow the knees to come over to the right. Again, use a block or whatever props you might need to support the underside of your leg. Taking a little deeper twist and a big stretch into that IT band and the hip on the left. And now we're working into that descending colon as well. Notice and watch the rise and fall of your breath. Perhaps inhaling through the nose and exhaling out an open mouth. Slowly begin to inhale and bring those legs back up to the center. Unravel the legs and let's bring the knees into the chest. This time, maybe you're rocking side to side, or maybe you're circling the knees, just giving yourself a little sacral massage, kind of tracing the edges of your sacrum on your mat. Letting the knees come close to your chest and then further away. Take it in the other direction now, about the same amount of times until it feels complete. Beautiful job. Go ahead and float the feet to the floor. With the feet about hip width distance apart, I'm going to provide you a couple different options. One could be that you slide the bolster underneath the hips widthwise on your mat, creating a supported back bend. You may also just slide the block underneath the hips here, just creating a nice support for the sacrum. This also is an inversion, so we have the heart above the head, which helps to bring blood flow back to your brain, but also helps to bring lymphatic fluid back toward the core. And it decompresses the spine, reversing the effects of gravity on our spine from being upright all day. We're just going to take a few minutes here. Maya Angelou said, "Love recognizes no barriers. It jumps hurdles, leaps fences, penetrates walls to arrive at its destination full of hope." Very slowly, begin to press into your feet, engaging the legs enough to move that bolster out from underneath. We're going to roll to one side to gently push ourselves up to come onto our seat so we can set up for our final rest position. So we're going to create instant Maui. So you can take your blocks on whatever height you would like, and then place your bolster on top to create a little bolster tower. And if you want that to be even higher, you can take a folded blanket or towel on top of that. You want to have it fairly close to you so the knees are bent, resting the backs of your calves on the tower that you created. And then we'll come back down, supporting the head with a pillow or a neck roll, whatever feels best for your body. Once again, this helps to decompress the spine. It's an inversion, a very gentle, supported inversion for the body. Allow the palms to rest either alongside your hips, out to the sides, or maybe even in cactus arms. Just creating some nice opening into the chest here. Close your eyes and just settle into this final rest position. I want to read to you a Facebook post that a friend of mine reposted. It says this: sometimes I just wanted to stop. Talk of COVID, protests, looting, brutality. I lose my way. I become convinced that this new normal is real life. Then I meet an 87-year-old who talks of living through polio, diphtheria, Vietnam protest, and is still enchanted with life. He seemed surprised when I said that 2020 must be especially challenging for him. No, he said slowly, looking me straight in the eyes. I learned a long time ago to not see the world through printed headlines. I see the world through the people that surround me. I see the world with the realization that we love big. Therefore, I just choose to write my own headlines. Husband loves wife today. Family drops everything to come to grandma's bedside. He patted my hand. Old man makes a new friend. His words collide with my worries, freeing them from the tether that I had been holding tight. They float away. I am left with a renewed spirit. My headline now reads, "Woman overwhelmed by the spirit of kindness, and the reminder that our capacity to love is never ending." Let those words land. Let them inspire hope. Let them fill your heart in every nook and cranny where darkness is residing. You're more than welcome to stay here for as long as you like. If you're ready to end the class, slowly begin to draw your knees toward your chest, one at a time. And gently rock from side to side. Roll to whichever side seems intuitively right. Pause and rest there for a few breaths in a fetal position. Children are inherently hopeful. So maybe we have to go back to having that childlike spirit, just full of wonder, full of hope, full of possibility. As you're ready, begin to bring yourself up to a seated position, or again, stay where you are. If you come to a seated position, just bring your hands to your heart, where the joining of opposites heals all opposites. Bow your head to your heart and lift your heart toward your head. The hopeful one in me sees and honors the hopeful one in you. Hold on. Pain ends. Namaste, my friends.